You are live.
Whee!
Oh, is the audio working? Let's double check that this week. Last week, Brandon and I talked for a solid 2 minutes before we double checked that. Yes. Success. Welcome back. Another Tuesday live.
No one said they heard us.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully you guys are having a good week so far. Last week, we talked a little bit about the kind of evolution of the VRD, but we never really did the kind of full version of the origin, the VS4-10, really. So Brandon this morning had texted me while I was still at home and said, bring your oldest VS4-10. And this is not mine, but this is the oldest one that we have here in the shop. Well, oldest complete kit version, at least. And this one is fairly stock for the original origin itself. That was the box art for the VS4-10 Pro, and I ran this body for quite a while after that. But the actual original box art body for the origin, I grabbed. Oh, it's that silver one. This was the box art body from the original, the very first VS4-10 Origin Limited, and it got used when we first started making.
Someone said dancer. Do I look Carrie like that?
Yeah. I'm Josh.
I'm not Dan.
That's Jim. Ripper Machinist, Harley Designs.
With his beard.
Yeah. He just and then stops talking mid-sentence.
Yes.
But
then looks at you.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about history of the VS4-10, the whole, not the whole, most of the story from what we can recall based on poor memories and stressful days.
So stressful.
It was stressful at the time, but not because of the kit. Because when we were first developing the VS4-10 would have been 2016 when that was all kind of rolling out. I can't remember when we launched the actual VS4. Welcome, Dan. I set Steve up with my laptop, which it's logged in on my channel. So
that's just wrong.
We'll see how that goes. But we were putting in a big new machine at the time, and there was lots of stress going along with that machine, which took longer than we expected the first time. But Brandon was the designer of most of the things on the original VS4-10. The Origin Limited was the start. For those of you who maybe joined,
probably stopped with Brandon's designer of most things.
Yeah. The Origin Limited was our very first kit ever. And if you kind of came along with Vanquish later in the days, you may have only seen the Phoenix and the Fordyce, things like that, which had the molded axles. Maybe you even knew the Pro or the Ultra. But the Origin was a more limited kit, just thus the name as well. But it was our first kit. It had machined D44 axles. So Jim did the axles on these, right? You designed those. Did you design before we had the truck?
I think we were designing in conjunction.
While
he was working, I was working.
So
we all kind of tag teamed the project. I think you were doing box art at the same time.
Yeah, it was our first introduction into it.
You were reading a lot of instructions.
Yeah, we had some pie in the sky ideas for our first kit, and then started hearing about how much everything would cost. We're like, oh, maybe we back these expectations down a little bit. But the first Origin really still did have a pretty cool experience when you got it with the CNC cut foam that had a lot of the pieces pushed into it. But underneath of the original Origin body, we had the very first style of the VS4-10 chassis, and that used a machined 3-gear transmission. So it had all of our good stuff in there as far as machined gears in that transmission, the incision drive shafts. The battery plate was to the forward side at that time, and the chassis braces. This has the actual very first version of how it came in the kit, and it used the dual servo mount in the front and the standard spacer here in the rear.
Well, someone brought up bring the bumpers again, which brings up to why we had to build these parts.
Yeah, so we the bumpers on these as well were these big machined aluminum bumpers, and they looked cool, great big, but aluminum this big in a scale truck like that, and being that it was a kit, a lot of people put good power to it, and people were able to bend the VS4-10 chassis, which was something that we obviously immediately wanted to try and figure out, fix, rectify, because the chassis is more stout than any of the other ones on the market, but it came with a big aluminum bumper out of the box. So we ended up having to
Oops.
we're back. Sorry about that. So
Someone with the technical difficulty comment.
yeah. So hopefully that's all
That
going
was
back.
self-inflicted though.
Yeah.
That wasn't because
There's the technical difficulty.
I'm the technical difficulty. It was literally on the button, dude.
Yeah, there's a back button on the mouse, and
That's not good.
hopefully let's make sure that we're back and everyone's tuned in. That was fun.
People are talking, so I'm assuming we're back on.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, we came up with the solution for this. Jim and Brandon, I think, kind of got it knocked out.
You have to get the other camera going, but
Oh yeah. So this is actually not. Oh, it's a modified version.
It's a lot of prototyping.
Give me that mouse. Yeah. Let's see. I gotta reset my settings.
I did it.
Yeah.
I think you set me up to fail with a button on it.
So here is this is one of Brandon's custom builds. So early VS4-10 chassis, you can actually see it's raw. And this was actually one of our material samples. So we went through and tested a number of samples as far as what material we were going to use on the chassis itself before deciding on the one. But later on down the road, we had made aluminum chassis braces, and they actually went all the way down. Brandon has cut off the front of his chassis and put a bumper straight out. So this is a example, although not a great one. But we did
what we had.
Yeah, aluminum chassis braces that went down, tied all into the front bumper, and we also did a rear brace back here. I think that one was I don't know. I think we just did that one just in case. I don't know that we ever needed anything here.
I think we were still having rear issues because it was hitting on the corners as they're coming off.
Yeah. So either way, we did those, and those went out to people who bought, at the time. And it was something that we sent them out to all the buyers who contacted in, and we got that fixed up. It was, something that luckily we were able to do with having the machines in house here. So
big advantage for us.
Yeah, it's a big advantage to be able to do that. Do that quickly, be able to get parts out. But this was an awesome kit at the time. The body was great, had a big full interior. It did still have body posts. It had our Lexan inner fenders and the scale shocks. This was, I think, did we release the shocks before we released this truck? Can't remember that.
I think they were after because they're very particular to our vehicle.
So yeah, I can't remember 100% on that. I feel like maybe we had those before. But either way, some other parts of this, it was all new sliders and all that, but the standoffs to the sliders, these were a design of a part that was made previously, and Jim had done it on the Poison Spider Brawler rockers, right?
That sounds right.
They're called, yeah, I think that's the name that they were called, Brawler rockers. And they were for like the SCX 10-2s. But that was just this Delrin plate, and then there was some machine standoffs. Reused that design, adapted a new outer design to make it all work. The 3-gear skid plate, 3-gear transmission was a bolt pattern that carried over from the aftermarket parts that we were already doing. And there was just a mix of parts here and there, but it allowed us to get that very first kit out. The very first one, the Origin Limited, was only available in this color scheme.
Ooh, Brandon said check your spreadsheet.
Check. I don't know if I was doing scale news yet.
I don't know. You started.
I think it was slightly, no, I might have had it in there. I'd have to double check. It could be. It's worth checking. But like I was saying, very first Origin only had the clear anodized axles and the clear anodized bumpers and everything like that. So you only had one option. And then after that, that was when we did the Origin Limited black. because we too like really long product names.
Real original.
This blue body here was one that we had ended up, Brandon painted it. Brandon painted our first box art photo bodies, like this one here. And then he painted most of our bodies for some time as far as box art went. And it, this was one of them. We didn't use this on box art. It was just in, promo photos and things like that. But then we went with the Origin Limited Black, which was black for the axles and all that. So same D44s. Everything on this truck was the same.
Does that have upgrades?
So, let's see if it has a chassis.
I'm not sure.
Nope. Oh, yes, it does. It does. So
yeah.
This one actually does have the aluminum front chassis brace and rear chassis brace actually all installed. Black transmission and all that. It's even got the stock wheels, the tires on it. We used this one for the actual running video. So this would be the oldest box art truck that we still have here in one piece. When we were first doing these kits, like we had the box art photo or box art truck, usually just one of them. And then from there, it would just turn into a truck that we ran. I took it to the original Origin. I took to events and we went and ran all over. Brandon had his test truck. We took it out for the very first time. I remember like going to the ASD event in 2017, I think. And so that was a good time, good event with those trucks at the time. But the black version, again, the exact same as the previous.
We still do that so Bam can answer them?
Yeah.
I don't know. Bam,
Those are in production. Well, those are one job back in production now, but then those are in stock. We've got them for axle sensor right now, but they're not on the website packaged.
They want us to do aluminum bumpers again.
Problem. Grab my orange one there.
You have a problem there.
Yeah, the aluminum bumpers absolutely did. They're big leverage arms. So after the Origin,
plastic would actually handle it, but
yeah. So once we the Origins, after those, the next progression for us was the VS4-10 Pro, and that's what this one is. This was one of the box art trucks for the VS4-10 Pro, and I ended up running it after that for some time, and I've absolutely ran this truck into the ground. It's still one of my favorites to drive, but I haven't driven it in quite some time, just because I've been.
That brings to VFD though.
I've been building been driving my Fordyce and stuff so much. But yeah, so Brandon brought in.
Am I taking his stuff for like next week?
Right. This is the when we released the VFD, and that was obviously a huge part for us. So with the VFD, we also had the new chassis braces that were fully molded, front and rear, and plastic bumpers and sliders. So it allowed us to get the cost down. The Origin was $900. So it was quite a bit more, where the Pro was $649, I believe, when it was released. But this was one of the original trucks, and Brandon painted two bodies for the release of the Pro. One was a mustard yellow one, and the other one was like a teal and silver. And I liked the silver axles. Brandon liked the black, but the bodies were swapped on the box art. So we actually just ended up swapping bodies.
Is that the green one? That's the green one.
So this was the original box art truck body, but it was on the black axle version. So Brandon and I just swapped there, and we ended up going. But when Brandon brought a bunch of his samples from developing the VFD and kind of the stages of that. I think Brandon did a social media post at one point.
The first one.
Yeah, the first test run. You want to swap to the other camera? The first, like conceptual versions of the VFD. So obviously, we knew we wanted to have that forward and low motor. You can still see the shape that resembles the VFD motor plate is there, but the shrouds went all the way up. Rather, they were concentric to the top shaft. And later on, we kind of determined that we should just we don't need it to be concentric, lower it, and make it, give us more clearance, give it a better, representation of where the bell housing and all that would be on your actual truck.
I was probably driving Brandon nuts saying I don't like the way it
Like,
looks.
no, change it. we all went back, and Brandon takes design input really well, better than some people.
Definitely better than me.
Yeah. So that little evolutions from here. This still had the high kind of bell housing design, but he added all of the detail screws, separated it into two pieces, kind of started to go the way that the final one did.
Was this cover one fitting that one? I'm not sure.
This was one of the SLS prints. This was an early, or I guess it might have been a later version, but full SLS printed, or SLA printed, sorry, VFD prototype. This one would have been really close to a final. Had the posts in there, but you can see there's a lot more screws in the top of that cover there. But a lot of the details on the backside of the T case and the skid plate all look very similar to what the final version actually ended up looking like. Even the bottom of the skid plate with that, the faux access panel there, everything's in place. Oh, this is all 3D printed. These sliders, the outside, the rear chassis brace.
Is it chassis brace?
Yeah, that's all 3D printed. Oh, we can see because it was brittle up here.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was we obviously used the samples from, or versions of the first rails, and then everything else is 3D printed. Yeah, there's some differences with parts here and there, but this was definitely a super early one. The only parts that are the same are the ones that crossed over from the origin, which were the shock towers and body posts, because we didn't have the slider bases or anything in that. Right. And then this would have been basically a final version of the VFD here. So it's still 3D printed, smooth, but this looks pretty much identical to full production. So this must have been like one of Brandon's last printed samples. I just remember dealing with all of those resin prints and how gooey
next to each other is how much different it got.
Oh yeah, like from start to finish, it's like it's a huge difference in design style. Even if the overall function was going to be very similar the whole time, you can just see that it went from something that was very bulky and simple looking to something that had a lot of detail and much more refined. So that was those are some fun parts. And I think I have to have Brandon repost one of the evolution photos that he created back then. But we before we had released the original, or before we had released the VS4-10 Ultra, we had released the F9 portals that were meant to be like an upgrade for SCX-10-2s and things like that. And I think I might have put the rear portal on this after we had already done the Ultra release, but that was when I had first done a portal front and straight rear, which we talked about a little bit last week as well. So kind of a
straight front, portal rear.
Did I say it the other way?
Yes.
Straight front axle, portal rear axle.
It's like, is it like those Texas trucks? Or...
Yeah, right. The Carolina squat.
Yeah.
Cali lean, one or the other. Not sure which way you have to call them now. But this truck has been a lot of places for me. It's seen probably the most miles of any RC I own. We've done some fun hikes with this one. I think my favorite was Tony and I went and hiked it's called Lake Sanford up in the kind of by Grouse Ridge with this truck. So yeah, I really enjoyed that one. Oh, actually, this was the truck that we actually debuted the VS4-10 Pro with at the Team K&K TTC in 2019. Was the beginning of June 2019, and that's when we announced it. This truck was modeled after, is it Aaron Kaufman?
Yeah, something like that.
Aaron, he's from Arclight Garage now, but
Aaron
I think
Kaufman says like man on the moon. What's that?
Yeah, that's Andy Kaufman.
I think you're close. Yeah,
it's Aaron. I think it's Kaufman, but this was modeled after a Scout that he built on a TV show. I can't remember which one. I believe this one was painted by Corey from Rusty Brushes. So he did a bunch of it to, make it look like that full-size version. Kind of made a a fun debut. But this is the one that Steve and I had traveled back to. Where's K&K? Ohio?
Never been there, no.
Ohio, to do that debut at that. That was the first time I had made it to K&K. That's the only time I made it to the K&K event, but it was a good time. So it was a fun release.
Yeah, Josh, you shouldn't store batteries in your rig.
I put that in there just for this show.
He's gonna burn our shop down. Remember we had that battery was like this big sitting in our office forever?
I don't know about that.
I do.
This one was obviously an early prototype. I don't think this one was cut the normal way. It's got some rougher edges, but this one's basically sat as was from the release ever since. It was never ran or anything like that. Tires, wheels, all that. No scuffs on everything. So it's a very original first VS4-10 Pro, basically.
Well, you're answering yourself.
Oh yeah, I knew that I was right. Lebanon, Ohio.
It's amazing how you do that with no finger.
Yes, it was Aaron Kaufman. I got it right.
Still sounds like me on the moon.
Then we had this one, and this was January of 2020, if I remember right, when we released the VS4-10 Ultra. And again, Brandon painted these bodies as well. And it was this was like a Duratrax lime.
Brandon really hates painting, but he's so good at it.
Yeah, he did a great job. So I think this was a Duratrax lime color, if I remember. And the Ultra was the portal version of our first truck. So this one did also get some runtime. I drove my Pro more than anything, but I did drive the Ultra a little bit. I think I did a video with this one at the Rubicon, which I liked quite a bit. Oh, my light kit that was stuck in there.
At least there's no battery in there.
Yeah, this was like a cap or a what's it called? Capacitive. So like you just touched the hood and it would turn the lights on and off, whatever the word for that is, but I don't know. It obviously is not sticking very well.
Been a couple of years.
Yeah. Underneath here, same electronics that were in pretty much all the very first VS4-10s. We ran RX4s and Tekin Rock 412s and Tekin servos. Tekin helped us out with that stuff. We used it on the box art displays since everything at the time was all kit versions. So Tekin was the ones that went in it. They of course look nice, and we've known those guys for a really long time. So I think the looks like I did some carbon fiber battery trays in here. Just that's about the only difference I see to that, though. I'm not sure beyond that if I ever. Oh, I know. I mean, it's got the wheels and tire change. I did Method 101s in gold. This was one of the first sets of gold we made.
Yeah. Every one of your vehicles gets new tires and rims.
Yeah. So this was one of the very first sets of gold wheels we made, and that was because at the time we were making trophies for the local band program, and I was like, throw some wheels in with that gold anodizing. So it worked out. We ended up liking it.
And then we still don't have gold for these Method wheels or something. There's like a color we're missing.
There's a couple wheels that we don't sell in gold.
It'd be ironic.
It might be this one. Which wheels don't we have gold in? Someone answer that. I can't remember. I think one. No, well, it might machetes maybe. And
it was a conversation we had a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it could. And I know setting up the new website, I'm going through and be like, oh nope, that's not an option. Don't turn that on.
Make it an option.
No more trophies.
It's amazing how you right.
I agree with me. No.
Stop encouraging him.
Yeah. 310s. That's right. That makes sense.
And someone with 305s.
305. 305 come along. But the Ultra was let's see, like I said, 2020, beginning of 2020 was when we released the Ultra. And when did the Phoenix get released? October of 2020?
I can't remember anymore.
Yeah. Pretty sure the Phoenix was.
We should make a history pick.
Yeah, right? If I remember right, it was October 2020. Or 2021. Someone correct me. I know I was going to a wedding when it was ready to be
You've been gone a lot from every container getting here.
I was in an airport while it was being released. So that was the
I think you planned this.
I know, right? That was exactly what I wanted, was that for sure.
I think Josh has actually been here for one container on time.
I'm on my time for everything. But other than that, very punctual. So these were the oldest examples of stock trucks that we actually had around, I think. Let's see.
I don't know if we have anymore.
No, those were the oldest ones.
My rig's over there. We might have Phoenixes. I don't know.
Yeah. So after that, we went, of course, to the Phoenix was our next release. But these were our only truck kits that we had. Before that, all had the machined axles. That was just something that we, that we did for every truck, and it's obviously something that makes the price point much higher. So it was, it kept a barrier to entry for a lot of people, and that was why the addition of the Phoenix was big, and that's what brought a lot of people to the brand. So it was 2021. Okay, that does make sense.
Nice plastic bumpers.
Yeah, the Origin bumpers were some of the best molded bumpers. The Phoenix one is very nice because it's nice and narrow, but that original Pro molded bumper was so good. It was just had a nice amount of deflection. I think the VS4-10 Pro was the first time that you went with us to shoot video. And we went to Iron Point, I think, for most of that video, which was a cool spot that we had never been to before. And trying to film is, I know how to shoot video as much as an amateur YouTuber can. But
you almost amputated a finger.
Yeah, that was that day? I can't remember, but
yeah,
I think it was. And I slipped and fell down at the river, and my gimbal like spun around, and one of the two arms came and almost broke my middle finger. I was unhappy.
We were on the side of a cliff that was like no traction.
Yeah, it was. It was a rough day, but trying to make two trucks do the same thing in a video shot, over and over.
If you don't have thick skin, don't help Josh do videos.
Yeah,
He's yelling at you the whole time.
No, do it again. So yeah, we spent a good day with that, and then I think Jim comes on every other video shoot now because like, nope, I remember last time. I'm not going this time.
I'm still crying.
Yeah, I'm not interested. It sounded more fun than it was. So,
but the one time don't go, you guys have like catered tri-tip.
Oh yeah, one of Brandon's mountain bike industry friends took us out for filming of the 4-dice, and took us to an amazing little secret spot and cooked us tri-tip and vegetables. It was the most awesome catered lunch we had ever had.
Yeah, I'm jealous
out in the middle of nowhere. So it was a really good. We've had good days on shooting film, and we've had rougher days. But is the VS4-10 Pro coming back? The Pro is not coming back. Those were discontinued. Like we said, they were released in 2019. So they'd been out a while, and we've made advancements with some of the parts, and the Pro was more dated in some of that stuff, but it's still it's still something that we're interested in. An updated version someday, absolutely a possibility. It's not coming out tomorrow or anything like that, and it's not a leak. It's just a possibility.
3:30.
It is 3:30 almost, and we started on time. So if you're over on Facebook, go find the feed on YouTube. Full rest of the other 30 minutes will be on YouTube. Check that out. Find the Vanquish Products YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Then you can watch there the whole time, and you won't be interrupted with such a time. Loud. So thanks for everyone. No, not delete. Just remove.
Save changes?
Yep.
I'm learning.
There we go. See?
I'm here just for eye candy.
Yeah. But I have VS4-10 Pro in the box unopened. Yeah, you got to build it. Open it and build it. It's too much. The Pro's such a great kit. It really is.
If you don't have one, build it.
Yeah, you should definitely. I mean, if you have one already that you're running, I get it. But the
What's a pro river?
that's I feel like that's a medical condition. You do the splits too far.
That's the Fordyce.
So, just like John sees.
I'm finally you're actually on board.
See, I regret everything. I can hit the log out of all devices on my phone.
But you're much funnier now.
Yeah.
Oops. Hit the wrong.
So yeah, the pros and ultras both, again, they had their, like Brandon's kind of touched on it before as well. Now with the lower cost of our trucks, we offer the RTRs, and kits are, I think we've discussed here recently that the Phoenix kit, the portal will be back here. But now you can buy that kit and you can buy axle housings, and basically you're still at the price point of what those were. So you can choose to build your own pro or ultra depending on what you're after by with our aftermarket stuff.
You can pick and choose.
Before,
the only way to do it again is make unique axles, but kind of hit almost every style now.
Yeah. The difference before was like you couldn't buy these axle housings. The only way you could get this style was if you bought this truck. Whereas now we have a full line of aftermarket stuff that is supported for our trucks, and you can dive in and do exactly whatever build it how you'd want, whether what areas are important to you or not. So some of the other stubby kit, yes, we know about those. They're still on order. They'll still get here as soon as possible. No different. Watch the website on those.
We won't even wait till Tuesday to announce it.
Yeah, no, they'll just come on. They'll be back in stock as soon as they're in stock, and they'll definitely be. We'll make a social media post about it, so you'll see them ASAP. But until then, you're not gonna have a better answer.
This one's Brandon's fault.
Building a Phoenix straight axle. I wanted to see if y'all going to do a front and rear dig for the VFD. Brandon has just shown a little bit of what he's done there for one of the VFD twins, taking out the selectable overdrive option and putting in a design that converts it to front and rear dig. Now that's not something that's going to maybe be as widely sought after, but as a possibility for an aftermarket part, it's something that could happen. So what's the difference between F9 and F10 axles? Really, it's just a difference in molded housings. So the molded versions that came in the Phoenix, it goes along with our licensing. Our Curry axles are our machined axles. So when we did the molded ones, rather than calling them F9 portal, which we already had a version of, it was just something we needed to do, change some naming on. So we went with F10 axles. Again, we need a marketing person if anyone's available, because sometimes these names are just what we come up with in the office. And so it's one different. But beyond that, the F10s are tighter to the ring gear and everything. So they've got a little bit more clearance than the previous versions of the F9s, but not by a crazy margin. Beyond that, most of the link geometry and all that is the same. If you're looking at the offset F9 versus the offset F10 design, so you're going to be able to drop those parts in pretty much right away. Will there be a link upgrade kit for this? The stance. There is a link set available now, so you can get the link set is on the website if you want the version from the Carbon. As far as just certain links or selective links, that's not something that's been added to the website yet. It could be in the future, not 100% sure, but there is a link set already available on the site now if you're looking for something.
Seems like someone just asked the same question.
Yeah, someone did. Will we see Falcon and Riot? Will we see Falcon and Riot wheels on the Phoenix RTR and kits as a rolling change? Any rolling changes that do get made will get shown whenever a kit comes back. If it might be very minimal stuff, it might be other parts. You'll see it when it shows up. Will the servo mount for F10 fit the F9? I don't believe so. The F10, because it was made out of plastic, the upper link has got a little bit of extra material that's molded onto the side of it for better thread engagement into the molded axle housings. And the aluminum ones for the F10s have that also incorporated, but the F9s are a slimmer design, so they won't have that same amount. I don't think that you could count on those working. Also, there isn't the holes on the back side of the truss area, so F10 parts are made for F10s pretty much only.
Except for internals.
Except for internals, correct. Yeah. That stuff, like internal axle shafts, the portal is different, but the straight axle is the same.
One day you gotta get rid of this activate Windows thing so we could read the last question.
Yeah.
I might do it right now. Might kill the computer.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the difference between the two axles, the steering angle on the F10 portal versus the F9 portal is drastically different. On the F9 portal, we had stayed with the same AR60 size VVD that we had previously been using, just for strength at the time. But once we had done the F10 design, Brandon had swapped that over to the universal, changed the portal box design, but he did maintain the same gear set. So we were able to get a lot more steering, which is why those F10s are popular for competition and all that, and helps to make those axles an even better choice. But the little differences, non-activated windows. It's not because it's not paid for.
I agree with that.
What? And you just have to read it. I agree. That's marketing for sure. But we bought the computer that's in here, and I didn't do the activation thing.
You just have to click it.
Is that how it works?
Yes.
It's actually the same on my studio PC, which is like that for like the last 3 or 4 years.
Pirated the Windows.
I did not.
Isn't.
I know.
Your home one, I don't know.
Bought start to finish. What is that one right there? Yeah. Person really love VP start to make some production of F10 axles, colored versions like the dark reds. That we've never done axles in colors like that, other than axle parts like C's and knuckles. We did the dark earth for Wheels of Fortune, Trucks of Fortune, Trucks of Freedom. But as far as adding that to the website, that's never going to be something that's a production thing. It's just we did them for special. Also, when those colors are colors that are harder to keep consistent for long periods of time. So when we can do them as a special batch, a special promotion to get them to people to have some fun, that's great. We can control that at that time. Beyond that, we have to make sure that we're trying to do our best to keep colors as consistent as possible. And having that for axles is not something that we're likely to add. We bring back the toenail color wheels. They probably coming back, insinuates that they ever were a thing as far as in the packages, which they were not.
Now I've coined the term toenail. People want them.
I know. And I have a small number of sets that I have had packaged and I will use in some sort of, I'm not doing more of them. It will only be those. And I hope that they go to people that either understand, I don't even know. I feel like they haven't been put into packages or anything like that. They've just been packaged, as a set of 4 like I would use.
It is a new style that's in production.
Takes
time.
Any chatter about new wheel styles coming out? Like Jim just said, there is a new style. It is in production, but
it takes time to get numbers for quantity, for colors.
Yeah, we try and have enough that we can offer wheels in a larger quantity, and that's definitely something that we'll wait for a Tuesday live stream and announce on there. So, not sure what Tuesday, but it will be on a Tuesday. Always check for that. Pack me a set of toenail wheels with the drift wheels.
You opened that.
I totally did. That's absolutely a thing.
I still know we're on capper axles. People keep asking.
Yeah.
I don't know if they ask.
Everything's, I don't
Sometimes
100%
it's
know.
all on work, but
Yeah, it's
get it
all
done.
So that's, the stubs, the inners, the outers. As soon as those are done, it's definitely a progress area priority. So as soon as they're done, they'll be up there. Roosts are coming back. Roosts, they're probably not a roost. I'll give you that as some information. Ripper 2 progress. Well, there is no Ripper 2. Not a thing.
It's functional. It's running. We made our final changes and now pushing them forward. So,
which still means a while.
oh yeah,
but
I guess 3 to 4 months or more.
Or more. Agreed.
I'm just trying to turn it off.
The F10T low pro. Yes, the low profile brass weights are back in stock. They've been going back in stock and then selling out. They're continuing to put them back on the site. So if you missed them before, just keep checking. I think they might be in stock now, but they were going fast for a little while there. But they're in a constant production. Those will get stacked back up, and before we switch to something as well.
I'm not a fan of non-plated wheels.
Yeah, we've discussed that a little bit before. We don't do raw wheels for a number of reasons. We like to protect the finish that goes out, and we want to also try and make sure that it's going to look as good as possible for as long as possible. Raw wheels are not going to be that. They're going to oxidize and look poor over time. So that there's a reason that we don't let that out. We don't, and it's not something that we'll add or give as a promotion because of it. So we also can't do our branding that goes along with some of those wheels without doing the anodizing. So
should we do a Ripper 2 preview group?
Yeah.
I actually made a group on Facebook to say no, so I'm going to be posting some stuff there so we can kind of control what's been said about it in a way.
Any new shirts or hoodies? Not currently. We haven't made any progress on that. Still goes back to getting marketing first. It's something that we'll put up some job listings for, probably on the popular job sites, to try and find some people that are in or around the industry, probably not directly, or maybe not directly in RC, but the automotive world or whatnot. So still, if you know someone who might be a fit, of course, let us know. It's an in-person job.
Not with how much Ford charges over sticker.
Yes. Yeah, it'll be
50 grand for a Raptor R.
Yeah, the what does they call it? The market adjustment. Don't.
Ultron Pros, people keep asking. We've been saying continuously it's discontinued.
Yeah, that shows discontinued on the website as well. Those are
out there. Is out there.
We sold the last of them off. We had said at the time that those were going to be the last of them, and that was it. So, yeah, those are gone. I don't even have any stashed away for Trucks of Freedom.
We have a couple stashed away for us.
Yeah, we have like a couple
opening in 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. We have our own. It's literally a time capsule palette. Yeah. The not even color shifted, just different. Oh, that sounds like way too much work. A different color. I need absolutely not. Make sure to add hip packs. The tactical hip bags or fanny packs. I like them. I'm all for it.
I think my wife would want one. So practical.
When will the metric nut drivers restock? Tools have all been going back up on the site as well. Nut drivers are part of that, so just keep checking. Scale hardware tools went up. Metric tool sets, standard nut drivers, those are all being done and put up. So just keep checking on those as well. Another one of those that's just in production. BP should randomly discontinue things so that everyone.
That is
the thing is like people, prices of certain items end up going up when they're out of production, but they went out of production typically for a reason. And
like metal bumpers.
Yeah, like if people if there was things that it was our most popular product and they just kept selling forever, we probably wouldn't discontinue it. But they stop, we make them for a certain amount of time, and then we just have a bunch, and they still sell slowly over a long time. And we're finally gone. We discontinued. People are like, this is crazy, and prices go way up. We don't get any of those high prices. Those are just what the collectors sell them for. Do VP wheels fit ProLine dual stage foams? Yes, the ProLine dual stage foam fits fine. Their inner foam can slide just a little bit because of that molded foam style that they have. If you run those, a little bit of like double-sided tape is a good idea to keep your wheel from moving, or your tire from moving around on the wheel so much. It's a fairly easy little way to get those held in place. But yeah, they fit just fine.
Being Tony's here every other day, I think he knows answers to these
I
questions.
think Tony had seen,
Seen what?
I've seen wheels. But
how are you typing? I mean, his pants are on.
Yeah. So yeah, if style stayed popular, you'd still be making Dirty Harrys, or
They would actually probably be popular again.
They probably
in
would
some
be popular
ways,
again.
but we'd have to retool everything.
Yeah,
Those machines are gone.
long gone, and they used a different style hub. Like you'd have to make
The DHs
yeah,
again.
a new stuff.
Unless you designed it around.
But that's like where the weights fit.
But we could put them with fifth axle. We could put them at ankles.
Yeah, seeing how the times and markets change and shift, it's absolutely a thing. The VRD was probably closer to some of like the 2.2 sporty style rigs that we made, or even before that, some of our very original comp trucks. They were more scaled, designed before they went to the robot style, as we call them. But yeah, that's the VRD is very similar to old school crawling, where we all kind of started and had a blast with. And then as it came back and was fun, like got to make a better version of what we always liked. The OMFs, you remember how we ended up selling the rest of the OMFs?
Yeah, people asked for them, and they were sitting on the shelves for a long time.
A long time. Finally, just made them very cheap to get to sell what was left. And
now they're collector's items.
And now everybody wants to, like, these sat forever. Yes. The weights and everything for the Dirty Harrys. I think you had found a bag of those cleaning the office years ago.
Yeah.
We didn't even know what to do with them at the time. I don't know if you put them in the recycle. But
we also used to have that stamp to stamp the back of the weight.
I never saw how you guys did that.
Just we have them custom made.
That makes sense. Because yeah,
but
there and
that
you
is I have no idea.
Yeah, and there was the little like center primer cap looking.
Well, that was part of, we did press those in.
Pressed it. Okay. Yeah. A lot of work in those little things.
The rip review.
I'm
trying as fast as I can. We finally got through the main prototype. We're driving one around.
But
Tony saw it.
Will it be actual production rate or just one-offs? There's still kind of one-offs, kind of. It's
one off every time it finishes.
Yeah, it's one off each time. It's still going to be a ripper, which means it's a lot of machine time, which means it's still going to be very expensive.
Yeah. I'm guessing like 20 hours of cycle time right now.
Yeah. So it's going to be expensive. But and it's not going to be one of those things like there's just a big stock of or anything like that.
Especially with Bidenomics.
There's going to be, it's going to be one of those things. But there's a lot to that project before it comes to be an actual finished project.
But I think even Josh can admit it looks badass.
It looks great. It looks great. We won't give you a price. There will not be a price discussion. You'll hear it when you hear it, when it gets fully released. So
we don't know a price until every part is done.
Yeah.
No cycle times. We know everything, how we're going to make them. So
yep. Everything has a cost and everything has to be figured out into it. So you won't hear anything. You can ask every week and you will not get an answer.
Were you driving with your eyes closed?
Yeah. Sorry. My wife.
You sound like me.
Like, what? Her text thing went off. I was like, that's weird.
You have to be a marketing guy or a SolidWorks designer to be one of the beta testers.
Yeah. And willing to work 40 hours a week.
Yes.
What brass can I use on the F10 straights? So as far as brass that we make for options, you're going to be down to like the brake rotors or the inner wheel clamp rings. However, those axles will work with most SCX 10-2 style AR44 type knuckles. So if there's option parts for those, I can't say which brands will or won't fit, but because I can't say that I've tested them personally. We have the SCX 10-2 style knuckles in aluminum on our on the site. So if you want upgraded aluminum knuckles, we have those.
You're typing it.
That's what I grabbed my phone for.
Always.
Is there room? Yeah, there's definitely just
our guys are allowed to work any hours they want.
Yeah.
If they need 40 or they need a day off, they have the freedom to do whatever they need and want to do.
Yep. Let's see. New colors for the Ford Dyson Phoenix would be cool. We actually sell clear bodies that can be painted in any color.
Clear is not a color.
It's the lack of.
He's probably like me, doesn't like painting.
Yeah. There's also people who are qualified for those positions. But as far as doing it just a different color, know that there's companies that do that. But for now, I don't know. I don't know about that. Mercedes growing. Yeah, just keep putting your money away every week.
I mean, it's not like these used ones, that's for sure. The price won't be that high.
Well, maybe.
No.
Let's see. Great idea. Can I have one on layaway? No layaway, no pre-orders, no emails, no.
Does the website handle that?
No. Turning it off. What is the color code for the blue on the Ford Ice? Ooh, no color code. We picked a Pantone to go off of, and from there, but I don't think you're gonna have any specific paint options that are gonna just make that. So
what?
Clear tire ETA.
Well,
Brandon said it was possible, but I don't know that he's got right to work on testing samples. So that's the drift car. I have a drift tuk.
He really hates it. I'm surprised. It takes time. I mean, I suck at it.
It does take I don't know. I don't know why. I like drifting in other form. I don't know why I just can't.
It's hard though, but there's so much tuning in those vehicles.
I think
it's pretty amazing. I didn't know how technical they were.
Those guys absolutely do get into it, and I just don't know if I still don't. I can't grasp it. Yeah, that is the plan for the project.
It will be a complete roller.
Yeah, it'll be a complete kit. So that's the idea for it. So that's why a lot of it, there won't be any details of specifics, and because we still have a lot to work through. You're just getting to know that it's in a prototype phase already, rather than the normal 12 to 18, 24 months of the normal cycle of this.
It's going to be in semi-production, just like the other one. The other one still had to do a lot of cycle times.
Yeah, the other one was the same type of thing. It was just,
I hate when you go click and the thing pops up.
There's a button at the top when you do it. It says remove current. So if you ever.
Where's that one at?
Like if you select one.
No, it's Vanquish Tech.
Yeah, Vanquish Tech.
Where?
Oh, well, it doesn't show it. Never mind.
Oh,
I'm wrong. I think maybe once it goes past.
He was trying to act like I was too old.
Like squint a little harder. I think it's once it goes up the screen, then it pops up there. But that's why. How did the jet ski do? We didn't actually take them out this weekend. I think this coming weekend will be the jet ski days.
You guys were talking about some events. I don't know which ones.
Gonna make it to the Utah events. I would like to make it to something out at Sand Hollow. There's definitely some stuff in Utah I'd like to make it to this year. Trying to make it to Beat the Creek on the East Coast or eastern side of the U.S., at least not on the coast. Not trying to offend anyone from Kentucky, but yeah, trying to make it to that. There's a We Are Sea Rock event in June in Colorado that I'd like to, or plan on going to, And yeah, Axial Fest here in July, Proline by the Fire in September. So we'll be at all of those as far as having some sort of presence. Sand Hollow Trip first week of May. That's not bad.
All depends on time.
Yeah, it's all.
This project's taking a long time because it's a lot of learning curve to make some of these parts, and it just depends how much time I have because I do have a release date I do want to hit.
So yeah, but
that's why we don't know the price yet because we don't know what's in it.
Exactly. I'm still not going to give you details on it. So actually, there could be axle already done. I still wouldn't tell you. Let's see. The
we always go to
Axle Fest 2024. Yep, I'll be there as well. I don't think I think Nicole purposely booked a trip away that weekend. She's like, "Oh, I can't make it."
Unless you liked it.
She does. It's also my birthday, so I don't know about all that. So she's like, "I'll be away." No, it's an important one. So yeah, I'll give her that.
More buggies on the shelf on the updates.
I haven't touched mine, but Brandon's is done. I need to take mine home and get back into it. But it looks so good here on the shelf.
Proline by the Fire, right? I mean,
Yep.
You guys have been there every year.
Yeah, if you can only make it to one event, Proline by the Fire is one to go to. It's absolutely a great event. Huge turnout, cool spot. The rocks are great, super close to where you're camping and parking, which is another big benefit.
That is also a plan. To have body panels and whatever
for people that are
why we're taking time to get everything done.
For people that have already bought one, not just people who want to make the style of one for something else. So there'll be a qualification application you have to fill out before you can buy them. Who makes those shelves? The Swedish from IKEA. They came. I don't know what they were called. I forgot the name. I used to know the name of my old ones, but I don't know what these are called. They're some sort of shelf. Same ones I use in my studio, which doesn't help you anymore.
Is Tony talking about his bus?
So this bus is going to, yeah.
That's the way to go.
That is the way to travel. The Ramaza Inn, as I call it.
Yeah, but you have to do the housekeeping.
Yeah, that's fine.
Housekeeping.
He cooks. Yeah. The shelves and meatballs. Yeah, and cinnamon rolls. Don't forget the cinnamon rolls.
And meat. Lots of
Yep.
meat.
It's a good time. So
Tony takes care of his people, that's for sure.
I think we need to get the mobile Starlink this year, though. I think that's the only thing we're missing.
I'm surprised you don't have that yet.
I know. So as much as the events that we go to are in the middle of nowhere, it's like we need to try and get that knocked out.
You just need to start doing videos for Vanquish,
Yeah.
not just Harley.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't do any from there last year because I sat in the booth all day.
You could have done live feeds.
Yeah, that would have been possible. Well, still no service.
We are running out of time.
We are 2 more minutes left. Why doesn't actually let's go back to Donner?
Yeah, think about it. I thought they did okay at Rob's.
It's a matter of planning and all that stuff, depending on how the events go.
Could be a matter of Donner's allowing them.
Yeah,
Some
honestly,
places don't want that many people there.
Event planning is an underappreciated and over scrutinized thing. It's no small feat, and
there's a reason why we don't do it.
There is a reason why the amount of time that those guys put in for those events is.
I'm sure we can throw a great event, but we would be stopped for 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, it would stop everything else. So they've got. We're all lucky enough that we get to go to those events and have a good time.
Pat yourself on the back.
Great. So yeah, that's the that's kind of that. So, but yeah, that'll do it. Appreciate all you guys for joining. Click the like button on your way out. Make sure you're subscribed to the Vanquish channel. We're continuing there. Once we get past some of our big projects, hopefully we can make some more videos on Vanquish channel for some fun stuff.
Eventually going to go into the shop more.
Yeah, eventually we absolutely want to do some shop video stuff, but it's a matter of that time. We're all on projects at the moment, so we're always all on projects. It's a problem.
Yep. All right, that's it out.
Thanks, everyone. See you guys next time.